it's Charlotte from Square Food. Hope you're all well. Hope you also enjoyed Barney's brilliant video from last week and all enjoyed yourselves making the couscous and halloumi. It certainly looked delicious. This week we are doing store cupboard staple, so we're making some tuna fish cakes. We've got some sweet corn, some tin tuna, we've got some leftover mashed potato, a couple of eggs, some breadcrumbs, some mayonnaise and some salt and pepper, and then also finally some nice chives that we're going to snip in a bit later. So, mashed potatoes in the bowl. Make sure it's really nice and cold and dry before you start the recipe. So you could either do this the day before and get it ready for the next day. And then into that we're going to add in some salt and pepper, some sweet corn, and then the tuna, and then this is just tuna steak, so it's quite sort of nice and dry as well. And then we've got some mayonnaise here, so just a good couple of dollops of the mayonnaise as well, and that's going to give it a little bit of moisture. Make sure you get all of that out. And then into that we're just going to snip in some chives, and this is the best way I think for using up chives and cutting them as well using the scissors. And the kids really usually love doing this as well. So the chives add a nice bit of flavour. You could use spring onions as well if you've got those lying around, if you don't have chives. Chives are actually really good to grow in a windowsill as well, so if you fancy having a go at that. I can't find any seeds at the moment, which is very annoying. So simple at the moment. It's just an assembly job really. So we've got the mashed potato, the sweet corn, the tuna, mayonnaise and the chives, and then a bit of salt and pepper, and then you're just going to mix it up until it's nicely sort of combined and everything's sort of really distributed throughout. So everything is really well combined and distributed, so we're just going to leave that to one side for a minute, and then we're just going to get everything else ready. So I've got 2 eggs which we're going to crack and then beat, and then I've got some really nice sort of dry breadcrumbs here which we're going to coat the fish cakes in. So the first thing that you'll need to do is just crack the eggs. So the best way of cracking the egg, this is what I tell the kids, is to give it a really good tap so that you get a really big hole, and then you put your thumbs inside and then just pull it apart, and it should just come away quite easily. So I'll just show you one more time. Give it a good old tap, thumbs in, and then pull. It's really important not to squeeze the egg because otherwise the shell goes everywhere. And then just taking a fork, you just want to beat that up until it's quite smooth, like that. And then what we're going to do is just take sections of the fish cake mixture. So I'd say that's probably about right in terms of quantities. And then we're just going to shape it into a patty. And this is another reason why it's really important to have cold mashed potato, because everything's quite nice and firm. If it's too hot, it just has a tendency to fall apart and not shape very nicely. So I'd say that's about the right size. It's nice and smooth. And then we're just going to take that, dip it in the egg, make sure the excess is off, and then we're just going to dip that into the breadcrumbs to get a sort of nice crispy outside. Try and keep one hand clean and one hand dirty, and you can sort of sprinkle bits over. It's just easier to keep things organised that way. So that's looking lovely, and I'm just going to pop that on another plate and then keep adding until we've done them all, and then we're going to put them in the fridge for 15 minutes. And that's just going to help firm them up again just before you fry them off. So I've managed to get 8 pretty decent sized fish cakes from that recipe. So comfortably enough to feed 4 to 6, I'd say. And like I said, you can either pop them in the freezer as they are right now, and then use them another time once they're defrosted and fried off. Or just pop them in the fridge for 15 minutes and then we'll fry them off a bit later. So I've just got my pan heating up. It's on sort of its highest setting at the moment, and then I'll drop it down a bit later, and I've just put in some sunflower oil. You can use vegetable oil as well, but you want a sort of quite neutral oil that has a higher cooking temperature than olive oil or butter. So make sure it's sort of nicely around the pan, and then we're going to add in our fish cakes. So I'm just going to pop the fish cake in the pan. Just going to do 2 at a time. We don't want to overcrowd the pan because otherwise they don't get a nice colour. Again, just a bit of safety tips. Always hold the handle when you're about to turn anything. And then we're just going to use a spatula to sort of flip them over. You want to give them 2 minutes per side, 2 to 3 minutes until they're nice and golden, and then flip them over onto the other side and do the same thing, and then you can serve them straight away with a nice green salad and a good dollop of mayonnaise on the side. And hopefully they should be really delicious. So a really good one for lunch or a quick sort of easy supper as well. So just another little note, it's human nature to want to sort of faff around with things. So once you put them in the pan, just leave them, don't touch them, don't move them, give them a good couple of minutes before you turn them over. If you do sort of want to move around, they'll just fall apart. So it's really important just to leave them be. So these have had a couple of minutes, so I'm just going to have a quick look and see if they're ready. So another safety tip is always turn the fish cake away from you so that it doesn't splatter everywhere. Oh yeah, that's a good colour. So you can see there's a nice golden colour, nice and crisp around there as well. So I'll just flip over the other one. They are looking fantastic. So just keep an eye on the heat and make sure that the other side is nice and golden brown too. I've just flipped these over, and as you can see they've got a really lovely golden colour, and that's really important because it's going to have a really crispy outside, which is great for the texture because the inside is going to be nice and soft, and it also looks much nicer as well if you've got that nice golden colour. If you're a bit worried about the edges, just sort of flip them on their side and just hold them in place for a little bit until they go nice and golden brown as well, and then you get a really good coating on either side. This part can be quite tricky, so I would recommend a grown-up does this part. As much as I know it's tempting for you want to do everything, kids, let your mums and dads do some of it as well. So really lovely golden colour on the outside, good dollop of mayonnaise, and then a delicious green salad on the side will be absolutely perfect. Well, I hope you've enjoyed those 2 recipes this week. Please send us in your pictures and videos of what you're up to at the weekends. We absolutely love seeing them, and thank you so much for the people that have sent them in already. We absolutely love it, so well done and keep cooking.